For me to be able to recommend someone, that means I've tested it. I can assure you that no matter what, this person will give you what you want. Okay. You see now that you will not just become visible overnight. It's about your craft, your credibility, and now the last one, which is the third element, your presence. Hello, everyone. Is another week with me here on Purposeful Professional with Oluwaseun. I'm actually very excited. You see, every week when I come back here to talk to you, it's like I'm also learning. It's like a refreshing session for me. Very refreshing one. After the last week episode, the one I dropped last week on career identity about um, you stop working hard and you should start designing instead of working so hard, right? Basically, strategically. I got a lot of messages in my DM. Yeah, I have people that reached out trying to like ask for guidance, and that's actually was what prompted me to talk about this topic that we'll be discussing today. So today we'll be discussing professional branding. I'm very sure you've seen a lot of posts on LinkedIn where people talk about professional branding, um, where they talk about executive presence. So it's a lot, right? And like I said, our talks or our sessions will mostly be practical, something you can relate to it. I will be using examples that are very relatable for you to be able to decipher the fact that okay, this is where I'm coming from. This is what she's trying to say. Okay. So yes, again, it's purposeful professional. We've stopped being just a professional. Now we are now professionals with purpose. That's actually the that's actually the idea behind this. So purposeful professional with Oluwashim. So yes, so this is just like a step further to what we discussed last week, as I earlier mentioned. So what I've observed is over the time, most professionals think when they work hard, they would be noticed, right? I think I also belong to that school of thought before now. In my world of work, in my past world of, in my past life, where I believe, let me work hard. Of course, my MD will notice me. I don't do eye service. I don't believe in eye service, but I am a very hard worker. I want my work to be known. I want it to be seen. I want my impact to be felt. I'm that kind of a person. I want a situation where you would know this is my blueprint. Do you understand? You would feel the impact. So let's go practical. So we know that organizations now they've stopped rewarding hard work. Not just organization, everywhere. If it's by hard work, like I used to tell people, the richest people that we should have right now in the country are the casual workers, the laborers, those that work on site. You know, those people work hard. I'm not even going to lie about it. Most of us cannot even do one quarter of what they do each day. But at the end of the day, they go home with peanuts. So it means it's not by hard work, right? Now, let's assume that you are even a hard worker. You may not be seen. Visibility is very important. Um, Organizations want to reward visible value, what they can feel, what they can see, what they can place value on, not hidden effort. I take that again. Organizations want to reward visible value, not hidden effort. So employees may work equally hard, but the one who communicates value, um, demonstrates leadership, and builds professional presence will always move faster. So I've had to work with some people. I used to work with, okay, let me use myself as an example. So I used to work with one of my bosses, and each time I send my weekly report, she would say, no, 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 this is not what I want. You were able, you like, she was able to identify the gaps because we work together, right? Assuming we didn't work together, she in her mind she will think that's all I've done. So when I send my report, she's not seeing, she's not feeling it. She cannot see, she knows that I've done much more than what I've reported, right? I've been able to, I've come up with initiatives that I was able to execute, and I executed them effectively. But when I'm reporting, I might just say, I coordinated this. Like, she's not feeling the impact of what I've done. And she will return it and she'll tell me, she'll go and correct your report. Your report is not reflecting your actual task for the week. And I'm like, in my head, I thought she was actually disturbing me. But guess what? I eventually saw the impact of what she was doing, and I actually appreciate her, right? Yes. And one critical question I would like you to ask yourself: what do people say about you when you leave the room? What do people say about you when you leave the room? Does your name ring a bell when there's a problem to be solved? Does a name just ring a bell? Does anyone just say, "Oh, I know this person can do this. This person can solve this. She has the answer to our questions." Like he knows what to do next. Just inform him he can handle it. What do people actually say about you when you leave the room? So yes, so people have actually limited. I earlier mentioned that I'm sure you've seen a lot of posts on professional branding. So what I've observed is people have limited professional branding to social media presence or social media fame, as we may have observed. But professional branding is beyond that. Okay, professional branding is about professional reputation management. Your reputation, your professional reputation. How are you managing it? You know, how are you managing it? Okay, let's look at it from this perspective. I believe that your brand is built from three elements. Number one, your competence, right? That's your craft. Now, secondly, is your credibility. How well do you know this? Can people make reference to to you? Like, how well do people trust your judgment when it comes to credibility, when it comes to consistency, reliability? 'Cause people say that if Oluwaseun says this, trust me, it is reliable, she's consistent, she's of good professional conduct, and her decision making is mature. Then the third part now is the presence, which is mostly talked about. I'm sure you are aware. That's the one that is mostly talked about. Now let's talk about the craft. Every strong professional brand is tied to a problem you solve consistently. Do you understand? Every strong professional brand, it is tied to a problem you solve consistently. There's something that you can do with your eyes closed and you know that you are going to still get the answer. That must have come with a lot of consistent practice, with a lot of expertise. You must have mastered your craft for you to be able to achieve that. Now, do people see you as the operations fixer? I have somebody in my in my team. I will call out his name. I will tag him to this post. Oluwashola Elisha. Oluwashola believes that each time is there's a chaos with our operations, just call on him. He will solve it. He has the answer to every problem. It might not be completely accurate, and that's the thing about most of us. We hold back because we feel, am I saying the right thing? Am I sure I'm saying I'm correct? No, but Shola will give you bits of what he thinks should be the solution, and trust me, you are just a step ahead. Are you known as a finance strategist? You know, some people they will say, ah, if you want to do contribution, caution. She knows how to organize contribution. That means people have known you for one thing. Some people would say, ah, I'm not so good with finance, I'm not so good with money, but I know somebody that can help me manage my fund. That means they know you for one particular competence. Or are you the HR transformation expert? That one, I will call myself. You know, when you think your HR, your human resources is in chaos, call me. When we talk about change management, call me. When you talk about organizational transformation, call me. I'm readily available. And I have testimonies, right? I'm not just saying it because I believe I can do it. No, I've done it before. I'm still doing it, and I will still do it over and over again because that's my that's my own niche, right? I've been able to carve out a niche for myself in the HR world, and that's what people know me for. I've been able to build HR from ground up to a sustainable level, and that's what I'm known for. I'm sure when companies that I've worked with that I've done this for, when a company is starting or a mid-sized level company and they have HR in chaos, there's call on Shem, she can fix it. She will transform that unit. She will transform the organization for you. Now that takes me to credibility. Don't forget, without specialization, your brand becomes generic. That means is what everybody can do, right? I have a fashion designer that I know that if I need a particular style, there are some styles like corset style or this snatch kind of style. I know once I call her, she will deliver, you know. And meanwhile, I have another fashion designer that if I need a boo like style, rich auntie vibes, I know once I call her, she will deliver. That's what she's known for. So without specialization, your brand becomes generic. There must be something that you do and you do well than every other person. Try and discover it. Now, like I said, that takes me back to credibility. Competence alone is not enough. That I'm good at this alone is not enough. People must trust your judgment. Okay? Credibility is built over time through consistency, through reliability, through your professional conduct and your decision making. People must have tested this and they would have been able to say, no, you know what they call tested okay, right? That's what I'm talking about. That's your credibility. I was speaking to a friend about me wanting to go into consulting some time ago, and I was like, okay, I would like to do this, I would like to do this, I would like to do this. She said, you have a very brilliant idea, right, Oluwashim? However, who are the people that you've worked with? Can they give their testimonies about you? What can they say? The word of mouth testimonies, the referrals. How many people can recommend you? For me to be able to recommend someone, that means I've tested it. I can assure you that no matter what, this person will give you what you want. Okay? You see now that you will not just become visible overnight. It's about your craft, your credibility, and now the last one, which is the third element, your presence. Huh. So now what is your presence? Uh, okay, let's take for instance, I'm into HR and like I said, I'm good with OD, organizational development and design. I'm very good with transformation, organizational transformation. When you talk about culture, when you talk about employee engagement, when you talk about performance management, change management, I'm good. I know I'm good. The people I've worked with know I'm good. But I'm not talking about it. I did not come back here to say that this is what I'm good at. So how will people know that this is what I'm capable of doing? Now, that's the energy I bring into my professional space. What kind of energy do you bring into your professional space? When they call for meeting, are you the one that wants to be quiet and just watch things unfold without making your own contribution? What energy, what vibe are you bringing on board? Right? We know communication. I'm being so forward, right? Presence has to do with your communication style. It has to do with your confidence. It has to do with your grooming, your emotional intelligence, your aura, how you carry yourself in meetings. So I attended the program last week, and even though I walked in like I think a few minutes late into the program, my team that were there said immediately I walked in, everybody felt my presence. Do you know how I feel? I was proud of myself that yes, that's what I'm talking about. People must see you, they must know what you carry. It's not just about "Ah, I know it, then I know it. You know it. I can't feel you. People has to feel you, Let people feel you, not arrogantly, definitely, not overshadowing other people, but definitely in a way that, in a professional manner, I think that just caps it in a professional manner. So your professional brand is shaped every day. Is shaped every day by silent signals, and basically how you speak in meetings, how you dress to work, how you respond to pressure. People, funny enough, people are actually watching how you handle all of these things. They see the way you dress, they see the way you communicate, they see the way you handle issues, matters that come to your table, they see the way you treat your colleagues, they see the way you handle conflicts. All of these things are actually not taught in school. They are built over time, intentionally. Like you are being intentional about your actions, you're being intentional about your communication style. You've been able to identify that, okay, I think I don't communicate well, my communications don't come with clarity, I want to improve on it. I don't dress well. Dressing well does not even require dressing expensive. Somebody like me, I cannot afford expensive outfits. But I have to look good. I love to look good. I know how to do my combinations and I'll still look good. They don't necessarily have to be expensive. Yes, when I can afford them, I go for them. But when I can't, I make do with what I have and I manage them well. So yes, people may forget your job description, but they will never forget how you made them feel professionally. Um, it's really important. Then lastly, I'll just have to talk about the power of executive grooming, which is your appearance. Your appearance must communicate clarity. Your appearance must communicate discipline. Your appearance must communicate confidence. Your appearance must communicate readiness for leadership. Leadership does not come out of the blues. The last time I talked about you dressing and acting a step ahead of your current role. You know, these are things that are intentional. You have to dress in a way that reflects the level you want to operate. You know, so I want to believe I've been able to also talk to somebody about professional branding. Of course, this cannot cap it all, but we can always um, have further discussions on this. I can say more when we have more time. Don't worry, trust me, I'm going to come back for you. But this week, I'm going to be leaving you with some food for thought. You know, um, just go back, like I asked you last week, and I got responses seriously, and I was impressed. I know we can do more. So go back into your corner and ask yourself, what professional problem do I solve best? That was the first thing I asked. What are you good at? What professional problem do I solve best? So if your colleagues are to describe you, how would they describe you? Just in one sentence. What would they say in one sentence? And what is the visible behavior that you must upgrade to align with the leader you aspire or you want to be? Just think, have a self, um, or let me say, think through this and be honest with yourself. At times, you don't get to improve on yourself until you have some honest conversation with yourself, a self evaluation, do an assessment. You know the truth. Stand in front of the mirror and talk to yourself. And I'm sure you're going to get your answer. Don't worry. Till we meet again next week when we'll be talking about. Let me keep that on road. But trust me, your career will change when you intentionally shape how people experience you. Your career will change when you intentionally shape how people experience you. Thank you once again. It's Purposeful Professional with Oluwaseun.